All right, I am going to show you how to play Endeavor Deep Sea from Grand Gamers Guild and Burnt Island Games. There will be timestamps down below if you're looking for something specific. I am also going to cover the solo/co-op rules at the end. Again, there will be a link down below for the small changes there. It's not much. The gameplay itself basically stays the same. So to set up the game, you are going to first choose a mission. There is going to be 10 of them in the main game. That mission is going to have a setup, which is going to basically tell you which sea tiles you need to grab. There are certain sea tiles that have this little yellow icon by their name. Those are special ones. If they're not listed on the mission, you are going to remove them from those decks. So first you are going to grab any ones that are denoted on the mission card. You're going to lay them out in the diagram that's shown above. Above that is also going to show you how big or how wide your sea area might get. So once you have placed all the sea tiles according to the mission and leaving enough room on the edges to accommodate how big this is going to get, the 2 wide and up to 5 deep, you're going to shuffle the rest of the tiles and make stacks. If you're short on room, they say you can kind of just stack them like this by the different depths, just so you can easily grab the depths. So that is how I have them here. You're then going to shuffle all the dive tokens up. You are going to fill up any dive spots, like this one that shows a 4. So you're going to put 4 tokens there. This one showed a 2. You're going to put 2 tokens there and make sure there's not on any of the other tokens. You are going to grab the journal cards that have an anchor on the back. You are going to shuffle them up. You are going to deal 4 out. You're going to put the rest to the side. You're then going to shuffle up the main journal deck and put it next to those 4 that are on display. You are going to prepare the specialist tray. For the first time playing, you're going to put the 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s, all of the like ones in the same row. So you have so in this instance, these are all reef divers. You're going to make sure they're the blue side up and not the upgraded side. For your level 5s, which all the levels are denoted up here in the right corner, they are all going to be different. You're going to punch them out, shuffle them up, and put 3 in each row. Then you're going to set where people can reach it. I'm going to put this right here for now. Typically, though, you would leave this area empty so you could expand your ocean boards. You're going to randomly choose a first player. You're going to give them the wave marker to denote that they are the first player. And then everyone is going to choose a player color, and they are going to get all of their components. So they're going to get a resource or a player board. They are going to put their resource cube in the 0 spot on their 4 tracks and the 0 spot of their research. They're going to grab their team leader. They're going to put them near their player board. They're going to take one of their discs, put it on the matching location. You're going to have 3 total ships. You're going to leave 2 off to the side. You're going to see what the setup says. This one says to place your ship in the arrival area, which is denoted up top here, and then gaining the arrival bonus, in this instance, taking a disc and placing it down here in your area. You're going to take then the rest of your discs, leave them set off to a supply, possibly kind of away from your board so you don't get them mixed with what you actually have available. You're going to put your impact markers up here near the impact board, which is also what the mission is on. You are then ready to begin the game. Each round is played over 2 phases, and you are going to be playing a total of 6 rounds. Each phase is played in player order, starting with the first player and going to the second player. In the first round, that is the preparation round, that is denoted on here on the side of your board. So the first thing you're going to do is you are going to take a specialist. When you take a specialist, you can take any of them that your level here indicates you can. So at the beginning, you can take a level 1 up to 2, 3, 4, and 5. It's wherever your cube is. And again, the levels denoted in the upper right corner. So again, you're going to look at them and choose which one you want to take. When you take one, you're going to place it above your board, again with the blue side up. If there is something showing over here on the left side, that is an instant benefit. You'll get that immediately. And what is showing here on the right side is the action that will happen when you go to activate this character. So if we say go ahead and take this reef diver, we'll just add them up here to our display. They have that little speaking thing. So we are going to move that cube over 1. We then are going to gain discs to our staging area. When you gain discs, you are going to look at the green level, see where your cube is, in this instance 1. So you're going to take a disc and place it down here in your staging area. After that, you're going to look at reassignment. Down here is going to show you how many discs you can reassign from discs you have placed. At the beginning of the game, you have the 1 on your team leader, so you'll take this and bring that back down to your staging area as well. Once each player has done that, you are now going to be going back and forth, placing discs on the different specialists to take different actions as denoted on the specialist. You'll notice your team leader has one of each ability at the bottom, so you will always have access to all of the actions by using your team leader, and then the various specialists will give you other actions to be able to do. So, as I said, you're going to be activating these by placing a disc on them. Some general rules of that is you may always decline to collect any reward or perform any action that you are entitled to. And to perform an action in a zone, you must have a vessel in that zone. So right now, I can only do actions in this specific zone because that is where my vessel is. Couple of quick things I do want to go over with on the player board before we get into the actions. This little symbol with the star in it is impact markers. You'll also possibly see it on the board in other areas. When you get an impact marker, you are going to gain the impact marker and you're going to place it on the impact board. When you place on the impact board, it needs to come in from where an impact arrow is or adjacent to another impact marker. When you place the impact marker, you are going to get the denoted thing, and then certain ones that are colored are going to have certain points as denoted on the mission board. One marker is allowed in each space until you get to this last one, in which instance as many as possible can go there. If it gets full, you can just start going into this box. So with that being said, let's move into the different actions you can take. The first action is travel. When you travel, you are simply going to be moving your ship a certain amount of spaces. The distance you are able to move is denoted in your ingenuity track down here. So at the start of the game, you can move 1. As you go over, you can go 2, 3. That also signifies the depth to which you can go. So right now, we can move 1, and we have a depth of 1. When you move, you simply can move to an adjacent one, or if I had the ability to go deeper, I could go down here. If you notice up here, it does show the depth. So this is depth 1, this is depth 2. So at the beginning of the game, we can really only go to the ones next to us. When you end your movement on a spot, you are going to get the arrival bonus, which is denoted up top here by the little wheel and what is shown. So if I ended here, I would move up 1 on the ingenuity track. The next action is Sonar. Sonar is depicted on the boards. So again, you have to have your vessel there. And in order to do a sonar, you do need an additional disc. So again, if I did the sonar, I would place my disc on my leader. I would then grab this and place this on one of the sonar spots. So some sonar spots like this one will have reward. So I'd gone there, I'd move my ingenuity and research track each up 1. Otherwise, if it shows this 1 to 2 or shows the numbers with that is boards. So this is how you're going to add boards to your area. So when you go, you are going to grab 2 boards. You can grab, so this shows a 1 and a 2. So that's 1 and a 2. So you can go 1 of each, 2 of one, or 2 of the other. So in this instance, let's go ahead and grab 1 of each. I am then going to look at these 2 ocean boards and choose 1 to place. So again, how many columns is dictated by the mission. In this instance, we can go across here up to 5 spots. We can do 1 on each side. Your depth is up to 5. So some certain clarifications of rules is, in order to place a depth lower than 1, you need to have a board above it. So I would not be able to just place that one there. It would have to go here or here. You are allowed to place a depth that is deeper than how far you can go. In this instance, I could place this 2 right there. If the discovery is impossible because there's not enough tiles of the chosen depth, you instead will go to the next available depth. So if all the 2s were gone, I would go to the 3s. The board is completely filled. Instead of adding one of those, you are going to get an impact marker, placing it on the impact board. So in this instance, let's say I go ahead and place these sunken runes. This other one goes to the bottom of the deck it came from. You are going to get the arrival bonus showing up in the corner. So in this instance, an ingenuity and another speaky speak. And then this shows to remind you to put in dive tokens. This one needs 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So then you would place 4 dive tokens on there. If there is no dive site, it will not have the dive token indicator as indicated up here. Speaking of dive tokens, that is the next action would be the dive action. If your vessel is somewhere that has dive tokens, you can do the dive action. You'll take the top dive token and reveal it, and this is now yours. So then during your turn, you can spend any number of dive tokens, and when you spend a token, you either gain its research value, which is indicated on top, or something on the bottom, in this instance, grabbing a new disc. A couple more notes on dive tokens is you can spend a dive token in place of activating a specialist. You can spend them before and or after activating your specialist, or even between actions if the specialist has multiple actions. You can spend tokens on the same turn you get them, and if a token supply ever runs out when placing tokens at a site, then you shuffle a discard pile. If both the discard pile and the supply are empty, you just don't place any more. So at the end of your turn, you are allowed to store up to 1 dive token, as indicated by the spot on your board. But so say I ended up using this right when I got it, and I could just grab the 3 research and then discard the other one. The next action we're going to go over is Conserve, as shown by this little turtle symbol. So let's say my ingenuity was up a couple more spots. At this point, let me go over the board yet again. So in this instance, you'll see I've crossed this ship icon. When I cross that, I get a new vessel. The vessel will go where we started on the game, again, getting the arrival bonus. And I know I touched on these ingenuities here also really quick. I will say is once you get to this spot, and then if you keep going and you get to the end and need to move again, you instead will come back here, getting another impact marker, and then just kind of continuing that loop. So for the Conserve action, so your vessel needs to be in the location where you are going to take the Conserve action. You are going to spend the research. So in this instance, say I want to go here, I'm going to spend 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I will then take a disc from my staging area, placing it on the one that I have done. So those both are 2. In this instance, we are going to go right here. And then I would get one of the yellow, and I would get one of my impact markers, being able to put it on the board like so. And then you'll notice this has a yellow line going to it. That denotes something special that happens if you do those locations. For instance, immediately after doing the Conserve action on here, I may do the travel action away from this zone. The other thing you will notice is these lines there. So, had I put another disc here, completing this line, each player on either side of this line would get the indicated benefit. If I am both spaces, I only get it once. So had my opponent done this, in this instance, we both would get an impact marker. Same thing down here. Finally, we have journaling. So if I am here and I wish to journal, I'm going to look to see in the journal space what the icon is. So this one has the little yellow with the 2 little arrows there. This has the gray with the 2 up arrows. So I'm going to look to see, and right now there is no journal card that has that icon, so I'd have to do the journaling here. In order to do that, I would need to take another disc from my board, place it on the journal, look to see which journal I wish to do, and then spend that amount of research. So if I say I had 3, I go here, looking up here, this one needs 3. I would spend 1, 2, and 3. I would then take this and bring it over to my play area and then doing its effects. So in this instance, I would get 2 green. This icon means to promote one of my workers, so I would just flip them over like so. If I had my disc on them and I flip them over, I would then put this back to the supply. And then when you flip them over, you'll see if you get another instant bonus. And with this instance, we'd go up on there. So that shows me this one is all other players would then get 1 disc. There are instances on these cards where it might unlock a new space. So had I had this one, I would be able to, instead of placing a marker on one of my workers, my specialists, I could instead place it here, doing the indicated action, in this instance, traveling, as if I had 1 extra travel icon. However, this can never be reassigned, so this disc would be there for the rest of the game. So those were the 5 actions. The players are going to be going back and forth until both players pass and are unable to do anything. Then once everyone's passed, the round ends. If this was the 6th round, the game ends immediately. You will know that because you'll have 7 specialists, because you'll have 1 at the beginning of the game, and you'll be adding 1 every round for 6 rounds. So if the game has not ended, the wave marker will move to the next player for them to be a start player, and you begin a new round. So for final scoring, there is a score pad. You are going to score for your attribute tracks wherever your marker has ended up. You'll see there's 2, 4, 7, and 10 along the top. You're going to check the impact board and see where your score markers are in those scoring hexes and how much you score for them. So on this instance, the yellows are 1 and the oranges are 2. You're going to check to see if any of your journal cards give points. Certain ones will have point icons on them. And then your level 5 specialist, if you get any of them, will give you points on their upgraded side. So there will be goals on the board. So in this instance, you're going to get 1 sonar or 1 point per sonar disc in the ocean plus leader bonuses. The leader bonuses, whoever has the most in the ocean, and then the second most. If there is a tie for first most, both people would score first and no one would score for second. This next one will do for journal discs and then conservation discs. All the missions will have different goals, so you'll be checking those out as you do the missions. Finally, all leftover discs and research will be scoring you a third point each, so add them up, divide by 3, rounding down. Player with the highest final score wins. So that is how you play the game, and specifically also competitively. There is a co-op and solo mode, in which instance you're going to use the bonus goals and the setback cards. So in order to play co-op, you'll be setting up the game normally, except the added steps is you're going to be shuffling the setback cards. You're going to be grabbing 3 random setback cards, or if you're playing solo, you're going to be grabbing a 4th. You're then going to shuffle up the bonus gold cards, and you're going to be grabbing out 3 of those as well. You're going to stack the bonus goals on top of the setback cards, and each round you are going to flip over a card. The bonus goals will go with the goals. The setbacks are going to do bad things against you. You are going to choose a difficulty, and that is going to choose how you need to win. And basically, it's going to be determined on how many goals you are able to achieve between the 3 on the mission and 3 bonus ones. In this instance, you're going to look at the 3 on the mission board, and it's going to show co-op. And this is going to show actually how many of those you need, because you're not going to get points for this. Instead, you just need to try and accomplish it. You'll notice right here, there is a little board that shows co-op, and that shows, basically you need to have a certain number of points between your impact markers, your journal cards, and your specialists. And that gives you the total down here. In a 1-player one, I need to have 20 points, 8 sonar discs, 5 journalings, and 6 conserve discs on the board at the end of the game, or by accomplishing some of these other goals that would be getting flipped up. And then again, doing the setback cards as they happen. So in this instance, all players return 1 disc from a depth 1 or depth 2 zone of their choice to their supply. So in this instance, this would have to go back to my supply, or I could do one of the other ones. And again, in a solo play, you will have 4 of these setback cards. But that is the basics on how to play Endeavor Deep Sea. Again, the missions will possibly introduce new rules, abilities, setups, etc. So make sure you consult those, and they do have a sheet for clarifications in the game as well. Alrighty, so if I get you to head down below and hit like, subscribe, comment, share, and ring that bell. If you are looking for games, you can go ahead and hit up Miniature Market using our link down below, which will give us a portion of those sales back to the channel. Alrighty, so get out there and dive.